This morning on The Job, we are getting you into the competitive spirit of one of my favorite things, March Madness. Here now to get us interested and to let the whole workplace know how we can be involved, all that good stuff. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Rebecca Risk, Metro Market Manager for Robert Half in Providence. Good morning, Rebecca.
Morning.
Always nice to have you here.
Thank you.
You know, people get really excited about this time of year around the office, no matter where you are, but we really don't want to lose focus. We don't want to lose sight of our productivity, do we?
No.
We want to stay on that course.
We want to stay on task.
So let's talk about the impact that it can have positively on morale.
So I think it's a great, things like March Madness or any kind of sporting event that people get super into are a great opportunity to boost employee morale, kind of improve camaraderie between employees.
I was going to say, is it that sense of togetherness?
I think so. I think it's just something to all rally around, especially something that isn't super work related.
Absolutely, especially if we have a favorite team in common or something like that.
Exactly.
We can all rally behind it. Now, let's talk about how everyone can, in fact, get on board. Like I said, we really don't want to lose sight of our jobs and the things that we have to do every day, but there are things we can do to have some fun.
Yeah, I think, you know, we find that when companies try to incorporate that into the workspace, that it really doesn't impact productivity too much. A lot of companies are finding that if they have specific festivities around a certain time frame, they can kind of corral things, and then it kind of increases productivity during other parts of the day.
Sure, and suppose someone really isn't a big fan, this is not their thing, they don't want to be involved, and it's not really something that they totally want to be a part of. How do we kind of let our coworkers know that this isn't for me?
I think that's okay. You know, just voice your opinion. You don't have to participate. It should definitely always be voluntary and something that's fun.
And do we want to encourage, you know, representing our favorite team in the workspace? Do we want to wear our hoodies? Do we want to wait for someone in a managerial role maybe to tell us that that's okay? How do we navigate that?
Yeah, I think, you know, wait for your manager to say that's okay, but a lot of companies have people, you know, taking breaks to check scores or having a game on in the background, or, you know, wearing sporting apparel when it's appropriate, decorating their workspace, things like that.
Sure, anything that puts that positive spin on it. But let's talk about some of the cons to all of this. You know, certainly I think I alluded to some of them in terms of productivity, but some of the reasons or the drawbacks surrounding this.
I think, you know, it's an event that can be fun, but sometimes people take it to the next level and, you know, get overly competitive or spend too much of their time talking about, you know, things that are not work related. So those are some of the drawbacks, but if you can kind of put some rules in place, hopefully you can avoid that.
Let's talk festivities. Suppose a manager or somebody wants to do something. Maybe do we designate a certain time? Do we say, hey, this is going to happen at lunch? How do we kind of plan something where everyone can rally around?
I think that's the best case scenario. Have designated times, have a plan in place, have everybody understand what the rules are, what's expected, what's acceptable, and then people kind of have a better understanding of what they can and can't do.
I think this all comes back to the fact that we want to treat our fellow workers with respect. We want to respect their interests, and if we want to jump on board, that's fine, but we need to just be mindful of everyone else's tastes, likes, and dislikes.
Absolutely, and right now, you know, with the candidate short market, things that boost employee morale and make people happy in their job are more important than ever, so things like this can be fun and can help in the workspace overall.
Anything we can do to let those employees know that they are appreciated.
Exactly.
Great stuff, Rebecca. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. If you guys would like more information from Robert Half, head on over to roadshow.com.